He wasn't a monster with fangs, just a gray wagon at a red light, and I still can't shake the feeling that the wrong face behind a windshield can end you faster than anything with claws. It had been one of those pandemic Saturdays when the walls in my studio felt like a second skin, so when my kid sister, Abby, texted that she was driving up to check on our grandfather, we can sit on his enclosed porch. Distance. I'll bring coffee and cake. I broke my own rule about working through the weekend and said yes. The sky was freakishly clear for late summer, Route 27 shimmered in the heat mirage, and the simple plan was she'd swing her beat-up VW Golf by my place at noon, we'd take Woodbridge Avenue toward US 1, and we'd keep Pop safe behind his storm door while we sat in lawn chairs 6 feet away and tried to make him laugh about the hoarded toilet paper he swore wasn't hoarded. Abby is the kind of driver who narrates, and I was the kind of passenger you hate, nose in Waze, thumbing between a county COVID dashboard and a true crime channel I'd been binging. So when she went quiet for more than a minute, I figured she was threading a tight merge by the Menlo Park overpass. Only when she said, "What's up with that car?" did I look up, and I saw it right away. A dull gray Chevy wagon at the head of the lane to our left, rear glass completely blocked by junk piled to the roof. Coolers, a laundry basket, a rolled rug. Its brake light shivering as the driver feathered the clutch, so the whole thing did that stupid little hop forward, like a bored kid seesawing. Green. We roll. He doesn't. Horns blare behind him. I glance over expecting a suburban dad in wraparounds lip syncing to some classic rock. Funny, harmless. Then my stomach drops. The guy's wearing sunglasses, sure, but his chin is tipped into his chest, head listing to one side, shoulders slumped so deep it looks like the seat is swallowing him. Not tipsy, obliterated. The kind of drunk that makes your mouth hang open and your hands forget they're supposed to hold things. Roll 1 if you see a dangerous driver, I hear my own voice say like I'm quoting a PSA. Don't engage. Get the plate and call it in. And then the light flips and the horns crescendo, and I do neither. Because our light goes green and my lizard brain wants distance more than it wants a civic lesson. We clear the intersection, and I tell myself that's that. We're gone. The world can handle him without us. Then an engine screams behind our right shoulder. The gray wagon slingshots past, lane changing without signal so fast the wagon fishtails and drops directly in front of us, slamming its brake to drag us down to its speed. Back off, I tell Abby, palm up like I can stop momentum with a gesture. She eases off, but the Chevy starts to drift, gentle at first, then wider, ping-ponging between lane lines as we peel off US 1 toward a narrower county road where the shoulder disappears and oncoming traffic skims closer. Head-on honks explode one after another as cars dodge him. My heart bangs so loud it drowns the radio. I picture metal folding like paper. I picture Abby's airbag punching her face. My hand finds the door pull because I have no idea what else to hold. Eyes front, I whisper, like she needed the reminder. The wagon jerks right again, and now he's pacing us nose to nose at the next light. Windows up, AC blowing, his face still slack under those stupid lenses. Don't look, I tell Abby quietly, because she's blonde and pretty, and I've been a brother long enough to recognize when a stare is currency you do not want to spend. I crank the volume on WNYC just in case. The light hangs red. Doom, doom, doom. The thud comes from his passenger window like he's knocking a rhythm only he can hear, and then the glass slides down and his mouth starts moving.
Subscribe.
Abby fixes on the red light like it's an altar. I stare back at him because anger eclipses fear for a second, and his expression shifts like a mask. The sleepy droop hardens into heat, and suddenly he's not performing for her, he's performing for me. "What are you looking at?" he screams, the words clear over our music now. Then filth I won't type, fingers and tongue wagging like a teenager, not a man piloting a 2-ton weapon. The light turns green and he paces us, matching speed, edging closer. The door seam of his wagon inches toward Abby's mirror so slowly it's obscene, like a dare. "Slide right," I murmur, and she does, feathering the brake to tuck behind a white PSEG van parked at a curbside junction box, where a utility worker in a safety vest is half inside a panel. The drunk doesn't check. He cuts with us, swerves late, narrowly misses the van by a foot, horns detonating behind him as he's forced to lurch forward or die against the steel bumper. He rockets past, disappears down the block like the road tilted. For a second, the silence is an animal. Abby's hands come off the wheel and she folds onto the horn pad and cries, big hiccuping sobs that warp the sound into a bleat. And I can only rub her shoulder and say, "You did everything right," even if I'm replaying every second I didn't. The utility guy hustles over, eyes wide. "You two okay?" he asks through my open window, looking from Abby's tears to the empty street where the wagon vanished. I tell him, "Drunk driver. Almost sidewiped us. Screaming at my sister. Nearly clipped your van." "You get his plate?" he asks automatically, and the question lands like a punch because of course I didn't. I lectured myself about Rule 1 out loud and still fumbled the only number that matters. I feel my face go hot. He sees it. One of those folks back there probably grabbed it," he says, tilting his head at the line of cars we left behind, as if to loan me some grace I didn't earn. Abby straightens, wipes her face with her sleeve, nods when I ask if she wants to bail on Pops, shakes her head no when I ask if she wants me to take the wheel. We roll slow the next miles, hands at 10 and 2, AC cold, eyes jumpy at every merge. I call 911 from speaker, give our cross streets, the make and color, describe the blocked rear window and the way he was pacing us at the light. They log it and tell us Edison PD has units nearby and thank us for not trying to chase, just pull over immediately if he comes back. We're 20 minutes late to Pop's split level in Colonia, and he forgets to be mad as soon as he sees Abby, waves at us through the glass of his enclosed porch, asks through the crack in the storm door why we look like the wind mugged us. We say driver and too much to drink, and he swears in the mild way old men swear when they're furious and want you to know it. We pour coffee from the thermos, split the store-bought crumb cake on paper plates, and make him tell the story about how he built that porch after Hurricane Sandy blew the last one to Ohio. And I keep hearing my mouth say the same sentence on loop in my head, "Get the plate, get the plate," like it's a chant I forgot in church. On the drive home, we keep to the right. We leave 3 car lengths at every red. We refuse to make eye contact with anything on 4 wheels. Abby jokes weakly that we should Uber to the mailbox from now on. That night, I fill out the Edison PD online incident form, even though I have to check the no plate box and swallow the shame again. The next morning, a traffic unit leaves me a voicemail asking if I remembered any digits after all, because they had 2 DUI calls in the same window. Gray wagon both times, one near US 1 and 9, one closer to Amboy Avenue. But without a plate, it's just air. I stare at my phone for a long time thinking of how cleanly fear scrubs your memory, how easily adrenaline trades details for survival. And I promise myself and Abby that the next time anything bangs on a window between red and green, the first thing I'll grab is numbers, not the radio knob. If a drunk behind a windshield turned the road into a weapon, wait until the flashing lights aren't real. When the badge is a mask, the highway becomes a trap.
Before any of that, it was just me and 3 friends doing a long overdue grunge pilgrimage west, volume up to Alice in Chains, arguing Seattle landmarks and record stores like it was holy ground. We'd started on Nirvana and Soundgarden, graduated to Mudhoney, the Melvins, Screaming Trees, and finally saved enough to point my old sedan toward I-80 with a cooler of gas station coffee and bad intentions. Midday sun turned the basins to chrome. The road ran arrow straight for miles, and I was stone sober, cruise set under the limit, hands locked at 10 and 2 because my Detroit license had taught me a simple rule. If you get stopped, you make it boring. Then, the rear view popped with a stutter of lights that hadn't been there a heartbeat before. Unmarked truck, single magnetic beacon, no siren, so I eased onto the shoulder near a mile marker that might have been 216, dust sighing around us as the pickup rolled in tight behind. The man who walked up wasn't in a Stetson or a trooper hat. He had a ball cap, aviator sunglasses, a checkered shirt, and a gun belt with a badge that flashed quick as a fish scale. Knuckles tapped the glass, I rolled it down, Felt the baked wind rush in. "Driver's license and registration," he said, flat as a voicemail. I kept one hand visible on the wheel and passed him my ID with the other. He studied it too long, then studied me. "Detroit, huh? Long way from home. What's your business in Wyoming?" "Road trip, sir. Washington, Seattle." "What for?" "Always wanted to see the West Coast," I said, already hearing how thin it sounded. His mouth twisted. "Just because." The way he echoed it made my skin go tight. "Any weapons in the car?" "No, sir." "Drugs? Alcohol?" "No, sir." His lenses told me nothing. "Step out of the vehicle," he said, voice cooled to ice. I hated it. Hated that I'd done everything textbook and still felt guilty, and I hated that my friends in the back seat looked scared because I looked scared, but we did what he said. Out, onto the gravel verge, the wind whipping our sleeves as semis ghosted by in the far lane. That's when I really saw his ride. Not a late model cruiser. An old Dodge pickup, sun-shocked and rattling, the kind of farm truck you swear will come apart above 40. He noticed me noticing. "Something interesting about my vehicle, son?" "No, sir," I lied, telling myself rural agencies run beat-up undercover units and that utility belts and badges are what matter. "Passengers' IDs," he said, not bothering with please. "They're in the car," one friend said. "Same," the other added. His reply detonated. "You didn't bring ID to a traffic stop? Are you mentally disabled?" He jerked his chin. "Go get him." They started for the car. Then he drew. It wasn't a TV flourish. The revolver just appeared at low ready, safety flicked, barrel tanted toward my buddies as if it belonged there. One friend froze, staring straight down the bore. It didn't matter that the highway hissed with 100 other lives. All I could hear was his calm, oily voice. "I'm not gonna shoot you. I need to cover myself in case you pull a pistol out of that back seat. Go on, get him." I felt anger flare hard enough to eclipse fear. Policy, the one I preached but didn't practice, rang in my head. Politely ask for the officer's ID and agency. Instead, I stood stupid and silent while my friends in the back seat backed toward the sedan, hands up, fished wallets from backpacks, and handed over plastic to a man who didn't give his name.
Subscribe.
He took them to his truck, sat behind the cracked windshield and started writing on a notepad, my address, their birth dates, all of it, then lifted a cell phone to his ear instead of a radio, talking low to someone who didn't answer with any dispatch crackle. When he finally climbed out again, he didn't walk back. He tossed our IDs into the dirt at our feet like scraps and said, "Get out of Wyoming," with a spit of contempt, then slammed the Dodge into gear and tore off in a fog of dust and bad exhaust until the horizon ate him. We stood there stupid in the wind, collecting cards with gravel rash while the adrenaline shook our fingers. We yelled, of course we did, about complaints and badge numbers and volunteer sheriff programs, and I swore I'd call the first state office I could Google as soon as we hit service. An hour later, 50 miles on, the mirror bloomed red and blue again. We panicked for a beat. Do we run? Could we outrun that antique? But the unit behind us was a marked Crown with a proper light bar and highway patrol stenciled on the doors, so I pulled onto the shoulder and reset my face to boring. He did the whole thing correctly. Hat, nameplate, polite introduction, body cam humming in the sun. I told him, as evenly as I could, that we were just stopped an hour back. He frowned. "Where?" I couldn't name the exact crossroad, just less than 100 miles behind us. He shook his head. "Impossible." My mouth opened to say, "Are all Wyoming cops this?" But he finished, "I'm the only highway patrol working this county right now. If it wasn't me, I don't know who it was." We described the man. The cap, the aviators, the mustache, the old Dodge, the clip-on beacon, the revolver trained on my friends while they fetched ID. The trooper's face tightened in a way that said this wasn't new or simple. He took a quick look at our trunk, saw nothing but merch tees and a cooler, ran my license through his MDT, and sent us on with a warning about impersonators and a suggestion to call Wyoming Highway Patrol Dispatch at the number on his card. At the next gas station, I used the flimsy cell signal to file a report with State Patrol and later emailed more detail once we were in a hotel with Wi-Fi. Weeks after Seattle, after Belltown and Pike Place and the Comet Tavern and all the places we dreamed about, a polite investigator left me a voicemail with a case number and the soft non-answer you get when a ghost drives a badge. They hadn't matched our description to any unit, no volunteer roster fit, no one had body cam footage near our mile marker, and please call again if you recall any additional digits from a plate. I didn't, because fear had scrubbed me clean. And that's what sticks to my ribs. I'm the guy who parrots best practices, and I still froze on the only question that mattered, the one a real cop answers in a heartbeat. agency, and ID. So here's the part I don't forget anymore. When red and blue bloom behind you from a vehicle that crawled out of nowhere, pull over, keep your hands visible, be calm, and then ask for the badge, the name, the agency, and watch the hesitation the way you'd watch a drawn gun. A real trooper will hand you authenticity like it's air, an imposter will hand you dust on a dirt shoulder and tell you to get out of Wyoming. If a fake stop stole your breath on the interstate, the next story turns hunger into dread, where the smell of burning meat and a perfect black handprint say you're already too late.
The first thing I smelled was burning meat, and the second was the part of my brain that says never step into someone else's kitchen whispering too late. Nights were easy money back then. I worked the graveyard at a converted desert motel off AZ 85, a soft gig with a brutal commute, 90 miles each way through the Sonoran blacktop. So to stay sane, I built rituals into the drive, and the best one started on my fourth shift when hunger had me white-knuckling the wheel past midnight, and I finally pulled into the gravel turnout by Sonoran Palms RV Park near mile marker 62, where a battered silver taco truck idled under a buzzing sodium lamp. The guy running it, stocky, quiet, with forearms like a baker and a habit of sliding you extra lime wedges, made carne asada that tasted like it had been kissed by mesquite and forgiveness. I'd eat standing at the fold-out shelf, rinse my fingers with the lemon wipes he handed out for free, and shoot the breeze with him over a cold Doritos and one cigarette I always swore would be the last. I never caught his name. I told myself it was a road thing. Money, food, thanks, and back into the dark. And in 2 months I must have stopped 40 times, skipping Sundays, counting on that lamp like a lighthouse. One Tuesday after 2 a.m. the desert wind died and the highway went dead silent, and I turned off anyway because the habit soothed me more than sleep. The truck was there. Generator purring, hatch up, grill whispering, a normal tableau. Except the counter was empty and the guy didn't pop his head out with the usual nod. I called a quick, "Hey Hefe!" Got nothing. Waited. Still nothing. The RV park looked asleep, fifth wheels lined like silent whales. Even the cicadas took the hour off. That's when I caught it. Something acrid under the meat. A darkened smell that wasn't food so much as a warning. I rocked on my toes to peek, couldn't see the flat top. This was a full-height truck, orders handed down for safety, and the generator coughed, pushing a ribbon of smoke across the light. Policy says you don't enter someone's workspace, and if you smell gas, you call 911 and stay out. But the part of me that owed 100 good meals to this anonymous man refused to let his rig burn down while I stood 10 feet away holding a rule. I circled to the narrow side door, tapped, got silence, pulled the handle, and climbed the retractable steps. The first thing I saw was the open register with the drawer yanked out and flipped on the diamond plate floor. Coins skittered like BBs into the grime. Robbery, my head offered, and my stomach tried to agree. No overturned stools, no blood. Maybe someone flashed a pistol, told him to run and not look back, then scooped the cash. The grill hissed to my left. I took one more step into the glow and said, "Oh my God," out loud before I could stop it. Black and perfect as a brand, a human hand was printed on the flat top. 5 splayed fingers and a palm baked into carbon, the kind of mark you can smell as much as see. I looked away so hard my neck popped, crouched, yanked open the cabinet and twisted the gas off. The flame coughed and died. The smoke thinned, the generator's thrum suddenly too loud. I backed down the steps, shut the door, and jogged to my car with my phone already dialing 911. Explaining it to the dispatcher felt like trying to thread a needle with shaking hands. Possible robbery, owner missing, register emptied, active grill, a burned handprint no sane person could leave by accident. She took my cross streets, asked if anyone needed immediate medical attention I could see. I couldn't, and said she'd notify Yuma County Sheriff's Office units to respond. "You don't have to remain on scene," she added. I stayed anyway because hope makes liars of us. I pictured him walking up from the back lot with a gauze-wrapped forearm and a sheepish grin, scolding himself for leaving the flat top hot while he took a bathroom break. 30 minutes. 40. The highway stayed empty. The RV park stayed dark. No sirens, no lift of dust announcing a deputy. The lemon wipes on the shelf glowed like little flags, and all I could think was how many times those same hands had pressed napkins into mine.
I finally drove home on autopilot. The desert of black sheet and my mind flipping cards. Maybe he chased a thief and needed a hospital. Maybe someone lured him out with a gun. Maybe the register drawer got pulled because he panicked and then ran. Every version said pain. I kept replaying the hand, how it looked pressed and held, not brushed by accident. I kept hearing that rule about not entering a stranger's space and wondering if I'd broken it too late. After a shower, I sat in the blue light of my kitchen and searched everything I could think of. Food truck robbery, Arizona, cook burned hand grill, RV park taco stand assault. Read a dozen ugly headlines from Tucson to Phoenix and nothing that matched that truck at that turnout. The next evening, I called the non-emergency line, gave my incident number, and a deputy left me a voicemail 2 days later that sounded like a form letter. We checked the location, no one on scene, please call if you obtain the vendor's name. I couldn't, I never asked. That's the part that keeps me mad at myself in traffic, when the sun hits the hood just right, and the air smells faintly of hot steel and citrus. I treated him like a ritual instead of a person, and now I have no way to look up a case, no way to drop off flowers or cash or even a note that says thank you. Weeks later, I tried the turnout again and found only tire ruts and a dead bulb. The RV office shuttered, a paper sign flapping against the glass. I sat there with the engine ticking and unwrapped one of those lemon wipes I'd stuffed in my cup holder weeks earlier, just to smell it, the clean sting of it. And I swear the scent dragged me back to the glow of that hatch, the sizzle I should never have heard alone, and the black print of a hand I'll always see when I close my eyes and picture the one line I didn't ask for, a name.